Hey YouTube, this is Angela from We Are Family Homeschoolers, and today I'm going to talk to you about our first grade curriculum that we chose for the 2019-2020 school year. It's now February, and we're going to talk about what's working and what didn't. Okay, so first I'm going to give you a view of everything I've got here. So we've got some social studies, my story, and the world around me, book 1. We've got America's Story 1, which is from Masterbooks. We've got Adventures in Creation, which is also a Masterbooks Science. This here is a big stack for Bible. We have More Than Words, Level 1. And I'll get into the rest of that. We've got our stack of math. We've got All About Reading Level 1. Basic Language Skills for first grade. Foundations Phonics, and Learning Language Arts Through Literature, Blue Book. Now the first thing you're probably looking at is we have 4 language arts curriculum. And we did use them all a little bit, probably a couple months in each one. Some of these we finished, some of these we didn't. My daughter turned 7 in the end of September. So she's an older first grader, and we're going to talk about the language arts first and show you what we liked and what we didn't like. Okay, the first thing we tried this year was Foundations Phonics from Masterbooks. Now overall, we liked it. It introduces the letters, it has a cute story, it has Bible verses, it talks about the message of salvation. She was not really into the stories. I think maybe she just wants to get her information and get done with school and go play. So then it has a little bit of reading instruction here and some words to try. There's a list of games that you can play. She was never really into the games. She didn't have patience for that. And then a few worksheets for each letter and some handwriting. Moving on to a new letter, and this is scripted, so you read everything there. And there's stories, word list. Now, when you get to these pages, this is for the parent and the student to read together, and the student reads the big words, and the parent reads the rest. And she found this kind of frustrating. But we worked through it. She got all the way through the book and was still kind of struggling to put her words together. Now she does know all of her sounds. And then, in the end of the book, they get to read this passage all by themselves. Let me find it. Oh, here's where they read the big words and then the parents read the rest. This was hard for her. It was hard for her to figure out that A had multiple sounds. There didn't seem to be enough practice in here for her to really cement that into her memory. And that's kind of what's in the end of the book. I guess I'm not finding that page I wanted to show you, but it was a song, Jesus Loves Me, This I Know, and she had to read it. And then when she figured out it was the song, she just sang it and didn't read any. Oh, I guess we ripped it out because she wanted to run around with it. Okay, so that was Foundations Phonics. With this, we had to make some word cards. So we put some pictures on there to help her remember what they were. So who, Owl says hoo-hoo. Of, she had a hard time with this one, so we put the U for the sound and the V for the F sound, and we told her piece of cake, and that helped her. For the how, we underlined the OW. It says ow as in ouch. We have a band-aid and a sad face. And that's how we did our flashcards. So this program recommends that you study a list of words. So this was a good program, Foundations Phonics, but overall not her favorite. After we did Foundations Phonics, we moved over into Basic Language Skills. And that's the progression that Masterbooks tells you to go through. In the beginning of this book, it has schedules, tells you what to do every day. These are your instructions. So one day you read, next day you write a little bit, next day you review and apply. They do have some worksheets in here, but you don't use them very often. Maybe 1 or 2 a week. She didn't use this book. This one is for her sister. Her book, we ripped out all the pages and she kept them in a binder. The books that come with the basic language skills are not too small at all, which is a cute story. But they want the student to be reading sentences out of this book, and that was just way over her head. And she got really frustrated fast. She ended up not enjoying this because she couldn't read the sentences that the program wanted her to. Then it also comes with a special door, which is a lift the flap book. And we haven't read this one yet, but we will. We're probably not going to use the program anymore, but we're going to keep the books. And there's a Grand Canyon Adventure. Okay, next we tried All About Reading 1. All About Reading has reading cards in here, and these storybooks, which are really cute. And she had a lot more success with this program. She did about 22 lessons before we decided to stop, and I'll show you why. All About Reading has big reading lists, and this was really overwhelming for her. And even though you don't have to do it all in the same lesson or the same day, just looking at that whole page full of words made her panic. So we ended up stopping this program. Now we will go back and finish the readers because those are cute. The program that she decided to go with for language arts is Learning Language Arts Through Literature. This was written by a couple Christian ladies who were homeschooling their own kids. This is the 3rd edition student activity book. It has stories and sequencing and handwriting and illustrate your own stories and lots of activities in here for the kids. The handwriting is similar to italic, I guess. Maybe it's a little bit of its own style. Lots of practice in here. Here is the teacher's book. I put tabs on every lesson where you pull in some real literature. And it tells you what to do for day 1. And then it comes over here and tells you what to do for day 2, and day 3, and 4, and 5, and so on. So there's a little bit of a learning curve here, but once you get the hang of it, we end up skipping a lot of this because it comes so easily for her. This is showing you which letter cards to get out and have your kid make words with or make blends with. So she's really enjoying that. It comes with these little readers. There's a stack of 12 readers here. They're pretty simple. Kind of like the Bob book readers, so to introduce the new sounds. And then it has plain pages. And when she's done with this, she gets to mark it off on a progress chart. In the back of the books, it has words for review. She's doing really well with that. After these short vowel readers, you have the bridge readers. Then you have a stack of long vowel readers. And then all these cards, which I've laminated, there's a bunch of word cards that go with the readers. There's phonics cards, there's letter blend cards, there's vowel cards, and consonant cards. And she's really having a good time with this program overall, so we're going to stick with that. This one uses real literature books like Who Took the Farmer's Hat, Caps for Sale, Ferdinand, Goodnight Moon, The Snowy Day, Bedtime for Francis, The Little House, Old Hat, New Hat, Make Way for Ducklings, The Tale of Peter Rabbit, Blueberries for Sale. This was mine when I was a child. The Runaway Bunny, and Mike Mulligan and his Steam Shovel. So these are all classic literature books. And this is the program we're going to stay with. Okay, moving on. For social studies this year, we picked My Story and the World Around Me. And this has been really interesting for her. There's some coloring pages in here. You're traveling to different parts of the world and you're learning about the people that live there. You're learning about how they work and what they eat and how they live. And then there's some handwriting in there, and there's crossword puzzles. Lots of colorful pictures, lots of information. So she does enjoy this. We're just having a hard time fitting it in because we do have 7 children here. But she does enjoy this when we do it. So that's been a good fit. Another book we've been experimenting with lately is America's Story 1. And this starts with the ancient Americas to the Great Gold Rush. She does this with an older sister. So the lessons are pretty short. It has a couple questions in the beginning of the chapter that tell you what you should be learning. You read about 2 pages at a time. You come to a narration break and they tell me what the story was about, and that's the end of day 1. Day 2, another 2-page spread, and then the child tells you what the story was about. So this one is learning about Indians, the first Americans. And then you can have some map work, show your children where the Indians lived, what kind of houses they lived in. And we actually looked up some things on YouTube too, so that was fun. And for her project, because she's young and she's not writing yet, she drew some pictures, wigwams and Indians traveling in canoes. And that's good enough for her because she's only 7 right now. And she enjoys that one. For science, she's doing Adventures in Creation, Level 1, with an older sister. And she's really loving this book. And it deals with light and rainbows and the water cycle, thunderstorms, layers of the earth, flowers, plants, deep sea creatures, animals. Has some health topics in there on the human body. She loves experiment days. So this is done 3 days a week. It has little stories in here. If Adam and Eve's children were asking them about creation and how things work. So that's cute. They do some pictures and a little handwriting. Memorize a Bible verse with some hand motions. They do some experiments. So this has been really good for her. These are the layers of the earth. And here we go, plants, and she's learning about the different roots for different plants and why plants should have roots so they don't fall over, and for nutrition. And then this is what we're working on right now, how plants give us oxygen. And today we worked on the parts of a flower. So this was really cool because we had Valentine's Day flowers that we got to pull apart for this, just so that they could get a good look. And then next we're going to do a pollination experiment with cheese puffs. So they're looking forward to that. Okay, for Bible, we have More Than Words 1, which she also does with a couple sisters. Every day starts out with a journal from a child about her age. And then it goes into teaching a Bible principle. So this one is God is good. And then she copies a verse on the next day. Sometimes there's a poem or a hymn study or a painting to study. And then there's a character study. This one is dependable. And they learn what that word means and make flashcards for it. They color pictures for it. And then this one says draw a picture of something that reminds you of God's goodness. So she's enjoying this one, and when we don't have time to get to this one, we do these D is for Dinosaur, A is for Adam, and N is for Noah books with her younger siblings, just because these are quick and they're fun. And this is going through the days of creation and pulls in some biblical principles there. And along with these, she gets the coloring books with little rhymes on them that kind of talk to her about what happened. So she's finding those really fun. Okay, and last but not least, we have our stack of math. So she's basically doing Masterbooks for math lessons for living education. She flew right through this level 1 book. It has stories about some twins. It has a little bit of science thrown in there. This math was pretty simple. The lessons were short. She didn't really have much of an attention span for the stories, but we got through it. And right now she's on Math Lessons for Living Education Level 2. So this is the 2nd grade book. And she's doing really well. She's doing double-digit addition. She's still doing the stories about the twins that have some friends that they're supporting in Peru. And they talk about them. And they do have some experiments in here. They have some cooking recipes and a quilting project in the end. And she likes this. Sometimes it's a little hard to get to because, like I said, we have 7 children, and sometimes the stories take a little bit longer or the concepts take a little bit longer to teach. Another program that she's been thinking about is Matthew C. This was an older sister's book that she never finished, so we've been looking at it. It comes with a DVD that has like a 5-minute lesson on it once a week, and a teacher's book, and a student book. I'll find you something that hasn't been written in. So the lessons are pretty short, and they're pretty simple. They're not colorful. There's no stories, but with this child, she just wants to get her work done and feel smart and go play. So she's really considering doing this one maybe over the summer. I'll grab her a new book. There's a little test book that goes with it. And blocks. A lot of my kids love these blocks. They look like giant Legos, but they don't really click together. But they make addition and subtraction really simple and fun. So every number has a color, and they memorize that 9 is a mint green and 10 is a dark blue, and then you can see it just by comparing it, that 10 is bigger than 9, and I think they reverse them like this for subtraction, and you can see that 10 take away 9, there's 1 left, so it makes addition and subtraction really fast. These are the hundreds blocks. So for math, she's really liking the Masterbooks math, but she's also getting interested in the Matthew C. So we might make a change, or we might not. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Hit like and subscribe. Thank you.